Welcome back to the pig room, you guys, or welcome to the pig room if you are new here. I am super excited to be filming this video because we are going to be doing a massive cages renovation here in the pig room. Not just one, but like so many. This room is not gonna look whatsoever like this once we're done. It's gonna be so much work and take a lot of time. As you can tell, the room is a complete mess. I went ahead and actually got started with deconstructing the herd's cage, and actually they are still bonding as we speak in there. So I'm feeling pretty hopeful that the bond is going to go well and Winston should be welcomed into their group 100%. If you guys haven't seen the bonding, make sure to go ahead and check that out before you watch this one. It was definitely stressful and there were several launches, so I was like a ball of anxiety when I was going through that. But thankfully, from what I can tell, they seem like they're going to get along just fine. So we are about to start getting this room in order. I spent yesterday actually organizing and cleaning, as you guys can, well, I mean, semi-tell. At least to me, everything is for the most part pretty organized. I just have, you know, things thrown around. I'm not going to give you guys my plans in regards to the layout of the cages just yet. I kind of want to leave that till the end when I show off the final cages, but you guys will definitely see the process as we're building them. I have so much to do. I have to go ahead and run to Home Depot tomorrow to grab some new chloroplast. I have to obviously deconstruct this. I have so much laundry to do. I have to actually move Leon and Styles to over here. I have to vacuum all the hay that actually ended up falling behind there. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into this. Again, it's gonna be a long journey. Hopefully we can actually get it done by tomorrow. I hope so. Again, they're still bonding, but I did just want to get a head start on this while I can. So yeah, let's begin. Very first thing that I started off doing in this very long renovation was disassembling the girls' cage. I knew when it came time to move in the new herd into their cage that it was super important to have the space be totally neutralized. If I was to have used the grids that I'm taking off right now on the new cage, they would have held the smell of the girls on them and could potentially ruin the bond. And that wasn't something that I wanted to risk after this very long and stressful bonding. You can see here just how badly the girls peed on the walls, and that's a result from not having high chloroplast walls. It truly was a non-negotiable for me to have high walls in the new cage. For this reason, and also to make cleanup a lot easier for me, there was so much hay and just poops that fell behind the cage because of this. So yeah, high walls were definitely a must for me in the new cage. Here I am taking down the lights from the cage. Half of them were actually broken, and that's just the result of me spot cleaning and banging my back on top of them. So yeah, I'm at fault there, but half of them were broken and then half were not, thankfully. So for the ones that were broken, I ended up just throwing them away in the trash, and then the other ones that were still working and fine, I ended up just storing them away so I could use later. And also just a little bit of a helpful tip for you guys who have stack cages and also want to put lights on them. It is pretty necessary just because they do get a little bit dark, so I would suggest definitely getting lights, but note to self, use binder clips to attach the lights to the tops of your cages. So much easier than zip ties. When they go out, it's a pain to go ahead and remove them with zip ties. So if you just use binder clips, they are so easy to set up and in this case take down. All right, so Christmas lights are all taken down. The cages look so dark. I can't believe I used to have the cages without Christmas lights. They definitely make a difference. But what I actually ended up realizing is I can keep this entire base together and not having to actually disassemble all these zip ties, which will save me so much time. So I'm just going to actually disconnect all of these grids from the outer edge connector pieces and then keep this whole thing together. And then my plan is to actually extend it this way. So that way it's like one big long cage connected to this one. And then, yeah, and that'll be open. I can finally reach back there because there's so much hay. So I actually ended up not having to save this platform. I just ended up rotating the entire cage. I thought I would have to save this, but thankfully I did not. But if you guys ever have the opportunity where you're doing a cage renovation and you already have a platform built, I highly recommend it. Not only is it going to save so much time, but it's just going to be easier on your back. Building platforms for cages are a back killer with like bending constantly with the zip ties and the connecting. It's so much work. So if you can do something like this, definitely save it. This was not even the worst of it. I ended up actually cleaning this maybe like a couple weeks ago. The hay that has fallen behind the cage was so gross, guys. And also just not hay, just poop. It was so bad. So eventually we get to cleaning that. But the first thing I wanted to start off on doing was actually wiping down my walls, because again, as you guys saw earlier, there was so much pee on them. When it came time to actually building the new cages, Leon and Styles were going to be right near this wall, and I did not want to risk their bond breaking with having the scent of the girls on the wall near them. So wiping them and sanitizing them with water and vinegar really helped to neutralize the smell, just to make sure it was totally fresh before I moved them there. You guys see me scrubbing like literally everywhere. The pee was everywhere. It was insane. So again, note to self, high walls, high sides, short front. That is the way to go to really make sure that the pee stays in. Now I am moving on to cleaning some of the piggies' cages, just because I wanted to end up transferring them into carriers and just having this whole thing deconstructed. So first we have Billy's cage. So again, just doing a nice full cage clean, removing all the hay, pig mats, water bottles, fleece item, toys, everything from the cage. We are getting rid of this thing. Just scoop him up and bring him to the carrier. Of course, with every time that I have a pig in a carrier, I just make sure to load it up on hay so they have something to munch on while they're staying in there. They weren't in there for super long, maybe just about, I want to say maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, but in that time they were totally fine. They were just chilling and sleeping. Then we are just taking out this chloroplast base, which I ended up not being able to use, so that got tossed away. Taking down all of the grids. Those again are going to get sanitized, and then vacuum up all the hay and the poop that fell behind the wall. Now I'm going to move on to cleaning Ollie's cage. I ended up actually doing a full cage clean not that long ago, but I thought for the purpose of the new room and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? There's no such thing as too clean of a cage. So even though their cages were only about like 4 to 5 days old, I thought, hey, why not? Let's just give them a full cage clean. So that's what I did. And again, just taking down the water bottles and the grids, just really clearing out that space to make sure I have room to move in the new cage. Now it was time to go ahead and move Leon and Styles, Kai, and Winston's cage. This was a little nerve-wracking, I must say, just because I was like, is this thing going to collapse? But me being the great person that I am when it comes to cage building, I use so many zip ties, so this thing was like, it was built well. It had a good foundation. I did take precautionary measure, and I did take all the pigs out of there just in case if something was to happen with collapsing, no one would get hurt. But thankfully, it was actually a breeze to go ahead and move it to the other wall. So again, this is kind of where Ollie and Billy used to live. It's kind of actually the same almost setup, but just lifted off the ground. I must say, I'm not a huge fan of the lifted cage anymore. I think it's a little bit too high for my liking to go ahead and clean Leon and Styles' cage, so I think in the future I may actually move it back down to the floor. Who knows? I do kind of like the storage, but then again, I'm like, it can't really fit much, so yeah, might change, might not, we will see. But yeah, this is where they're going to be. Leon and Styles are going to be on the top, same exact cage size, nothing has changed there, but Ollie and Billy get like a slight upgrade. I think it's about like 1.5 square feet, which is kind of nice because they are both pretty active. So yeah, just gonna go ahead and clean this, sanitize it, and get it ready to move them in. Here I am just decorating Ollie's cage, make sure that I have him nice and cozy for when he moves in. Again, I did sanitize the chloroplast and all the grids and all the surrounding grids just to be sure that there was no smell of Winston or Kai around. Obviously, it's not a huge deal just because I'm not putting like bonded boys in here together, but if you guys are doing that, I would replace all the grids. I think just to be on the safer end, just do something like that, because even if you think that you got all the scent off and wiped down everything, there still could be something lingering. But for this case where Billy and Ollie are separated, it's totally fine. So they're going to be fine. And again, I do plan on bonding them very, very soon. So look forward to seeing that in the near future. Now let's move on to decorating Billy's cage. I got this adorable fleece from Joann's recently. It's like this kind of camper vibe. I love tan colors or just natural colors with the green. So this is right up my alley and Billy looked fabulous on it. We're going to go ahead and grab one of our new products, which is our Mega Pig Mat, and it fits literally so perfect and is great for hay piles. Then we are going to go ahead and move on to constructing the new cage. So this is actually where the trio is going to go. They're going to be in a 3x7. If you guys don't know, they're currently living in a 3x6, and I've been really wanting to give them an upgrade in regards to space. So being able to give them an extra 3 square feet really is helpful and just allows me to feel just a little bit better, just knowing that I'm like spoiling my piggies. So they're going from a 3x6 to a 3x7. So many of you guys also ask me where I get my grids from. I purchased these from Amazon. They're by the brand C&A Home. They are the 12-inch grids. I know that there's a couple brands out there that sell the 14-inch ones, but I kind of prefer the 12-inch ones just because it's true to a foot and I like know what a foot is. I don't have to do like any weird calculations or math when it comes to like measuring, you know, a 14-inch grid. If you guys know what I mean, I'm not good at math. So 12 inches is just a lot more workable for me. I feel like in my head, it just makes more sense to have a 12-inch grid. So that's the ones that I have. And then in regards to the chloroplast bases, which you guys will see later on when I actually add it to the herd's cage, I get that from Home Depot. So it's not really necessary, I would say, to make sure that everything's zip tied on the bottom, like the bottom grids, because it's not really like a supporting grid. They're gonna hold pretty well because they have a great base to sit on, which is the floor. When it comes time to doing like the second layer, you definitely want to make sure you're using zip ties, and especially on the base. So I will go in and add a bunch of zip ties later on, actually with the help of Andy. He was kind enough to go ahead and help me. So yeah, tons of zip ties. The connectors are definitely not enough to make sure that this is supporting, especially with having live animals on them. Yeah, they're going to be doing a lot of running around, so just make sure it's super secure with a bunch of zip ties. Honestly, the more the better. Little progress update. As you guys can tell, we successfully moved the cage that was over here to over here. The room is looking like a disaster. It's so messy. As you can tell, the trio is not in their cage currently because they are now over here enjoying their much bigger cage. Well, 3 square feet bigger. They went from a 3x6 to a 3x7, but with having a trio, I definitely wanted to give them a little bit more space than a 3x6, even though they were getting 6 square feet per pig. I think 7 is much better. So now each pig has 7 square feet in this cage. It looks very empty right now just because I'm trying to like move everything over. So once all the cages are all set up, I'll go ahead and like add in more items, more toys, all that kind of stuff. I just need to go ahead and actually clean out their litter box and refill that and top up their hay. But guys, we're making such good progress. I'm very tired, so I think I'm gonna grab something to eat really quickly. JoJo is also hanging out in there. Oh, he's right there actually outside. Being a good boy. Kai is in there, and then the single boys are right down there. But everything is looking super good so far. I still have to plug in those lights and rearrange them to make them look prettier. We still got to add lights like underneath there. We got so much work to do, but I am very, he's very excited, Vision as well. I'm very happy with what it's looking like so far. Back to work we go, and I will update you guys in a bit. So I just got back from Home Depot. I went ahead and picked up my chloroplast and also some trash bags because I was totally out. But we are finishing up this room today, guys. It's better now to finish this because we actually have light because it's the morning time, which I'm very happy about. So yeah, the room looks like still kind of a mess, but for the most part, it's about like 80% done, I would say. you guys can kind of get the idea as far as what the new pig room is going to look like. I will be sure to go ahead and give you guys like a final tour at the end of this video. Next on our list is to go ahead and add our Christmas lights underneath this cage and also this cage. We have to cut the chloroplast here. We have to put up the new fresh grids around the borders. We have to decorate the cage, and then we also have to clean up this entire room and get it back in order. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. All right, so first on our list is we have to go ahead and add some Christmas lights. I love using these because the stack cages, the ones underneath, get pretty dark. Especially when we add the chloroplast on top, they're not really gonna get any sunlight. So using these Christmas lights, which are white to like kind of blend in with the grids, is my absolute favorite. I did just get these off Amazon, relatively cheap. I will say you do have to be careful, like when you're spot cleaning. I usually put them right here. Make sure not to hit your back on them, just because I do notice if you are kind of rough with them, they will break, and then you have to replace them all. And I've done that numerous times and it's kind of getting annoying. So let's go ahead and set these up. I do also want to mention the outlet is all the way back there. So I do actually have to order, I'm all tangled up here. I do want to order self-timer, so that way the lights actually turn on by themselves, because having to go back there and turn them on is just going to be way too much. So yeah, I got to get one of those actually today, so I'll probably order that. Why am I all tangled up here? How did this even happen? So we're going to go around the outside and perimeters of the actual cage. That way, if they do go out, it's just an easy fix for me. I attached them using binder clips, way easier than zip ties. So I'll just go ahead and put them like right there. I'll basically just attach them at like every corner, just making sure that they're nice and tight, just like so. Yeah, I kind of want them underneath. I feel like that would look nicer, so let's just do that. So I'm just gonna actually feed them through like I did with the other ones that I had, just right directly through here. Making sure that the piggies obviously cannot access them, because you do not want your piggies chewing on Christmas lights, or anything electrical for that matter. Alright, so I just cut the final piece of chloroplast. The sheet that I cut right here was 4 feet by 8 feet, and obviously their cage is 9 feet long, so it just wouldn't have worked out. So I had to go ahead and cut a second piece, which is going to act as like a little extender, just like so, and it fits literally perfect. I think I'm actually going to tuck this one underneath. So let me go ahead and do that. And then eventually in the future, if I can extend their cage to be a little bit bigger, because I did have plans on making it a 3x10, but I didn't have the space. So they're ending up with the same exact cage size, which is a 3x9, which is plenty big for 5 piggies, because I had you know, the Herd Plus Teddy in here last time. They were great. But yeah, if I do ever end up extending it, that's why I made this bigger, so I can literally just like pull it out and then it'll fit perfectly. So let's go ahead and just tape this up, just so that no pee or anything like soaks through. And also we can get it like nice and flat. I will say cutting chloroplast like in the beginning was very stressful for me, just because with having so many different cage sizes, I, you know, got very confused with the measuring and all that kind of stuff. But having done it for so long, I feel like honestly guys, I've become like an expert at it, so it's not too hard for me anymore. And also having like the same 3 grid wide cages for all of them, I kind of understand the measurements now, so it is fairly easy for me now. And I actually think I'm gonna make a dedicated video on how to actually cut chloroplast base, because a lot of people have been asking me, and I feel like now is probably the time to do it, because I do have the opportunity to do so. So I'm probably gonna hold off on making the chloroplast bases for all the single boys, because I'm gonna give them all high walls. So I'll wait to film that for a separate video to give you guys a tutorial on how to actually do that. And I really like to use the white duct tape just because it blends in super well to the chloroplast, and it's also super strong. You could use like a clear tape, like a masking tape, but this will definitely hold a lot better. And I feel like this is a little bit more like waterproof. All right, guys, the cage is now complete. Oh my God, it looks so freaking good. I am so happy with it. Wow, this looks incredible. Finally have the back walls and the high sides. This is going to keep the mess to a low. Let me go ahead and just add on the last couple grids, just 3 more. And then 2, and then last but not least, we have the 3rd one. There we have it, the Herd's brand new fresh cage, fresh grids, fresh coroplast. We've got the high sides and also the high walls. Going to make my life so much easier with keeping in the hay. No more hay is going to fall behind. I cannot even begin to tell you guys how much hay was behind the cage. It was so gross. There was so much of it, and also poop. But now we can avoid that problem with the high walls. I love it. And then for the front, so I can obviously see their cute faces, we have the 4-inch front. Alrighty guys, so the cage, as you can see, is all set up. We are about to go ahead and move in the piggies into their new enclosure. Just wanted to give you guys an overview of all of the items inside of the cages. For the most part, I have just the piggy bunk beds and tunnels, just because I want to keep the peace, and I have 2 entrance hides for the time being, at least for like the first week until their bond is like really solidified. The only like 1 entrance hide that I have is this one right here, which is actually from a lovely follower of mine. Thank you, Nikki, so much. I decided to use this just because the entrance hole is a little bit bigger than my other hides, so should be fine. If I do notice any piggies kind of like fighting over it, I definitely will take it out. And I think I probably should add a pee pad on top because I'm sure some of the piggies are going to want to go up top there. I have 2 hay stations, 1 litter box, and then 1 hay rack. I do have 3 water bottles in here at the moment, which is definitely not enough. I just have to go ahead and find like the metal brackets to actually hang them. So I'll put up about 1 or 2 others, and that should be good. I also have some pig room toys for them. We have our Timothy hoop, we've got some bamboo chews, we've also got a Timothy straw, and then the Oxbow Timbels. So the piggy's cage is all nice and set. So let's go ahead and get them. All right, so I just went ahead and grabbed Wanda, who's in the cage right now. And here we have Winston. And let's go ahead and grab the other piggies. Alrighty, here we have Miss Eris. And then we have Kyle, who decided to stay inside of her piggy bunk bed. So I'll just transport her like that. And then last but not least, we have Caroline. Alrighty, and then we have Miss Caroline. So right off the bat, everyone is obviously exploring. This is so like foreign to Winston because he's never been in a cage this big. Well, first cage he was in was the 3x8 when he was living with his brothers, but he has not been in a cage this big in so long, so I'm sure he's going to enjoy it. Now I will say this was to the point that we reached with Vision and the Herd when things kind of turned between him and Caroline. So hopefully we don't have a situation like that where Winston and Caroline start to get aggressive with one another. I really hope not, because I really want this to work. But with any new space that piggies move into, they still have to assert some kind of dominance and hierarchy in this new territory. So I'm sure they're going to be doing a little bit of that, but hopefully it's nothing major and Winston can live happily with them. So we have just a little bit of rumble strutting from Caroline, as per usual. Those are the 2 that are probably just going to be not the best of friends, but I think they're gonna get along just fine. Do you like your new cage, mister? You got friends, you got loads of room to run around. Hopefully now with Winston having friends, this should allow him to stop escaping. I think it should work. I really, really do. I think that Winston is just a super social piggy that just having friends is gonna help him to stop doing that kind of stuff. So this kind of behavior is definitely normal, as you can see with Winston kind of getting on top of Caroline, annoying her and stuff like that. He doesn't really do it with any of the other pigs. Well, of course he did it just there, but mainly just Caroline is the one that he kind of has to prove himself more towards, but you know, that is to be expected because she is the queen, and I don't think Winston likes to be run by a queen, I guess you could say. Do you like the new house, buddy? So I think Winston's probably gonna wanna go up there. Yeah, I definitely need to put up a pee pad there. Oh, Mr. Winston has discovered his Timothy straw and is munching down already. Just knowing that the coroplast is like completely fresh and it also just looks so much better, it just makes the space feel so much better. I'm so happy with it. And again, it just makes me so happy to see Winston with friends and enjoying himself and also getting along for that matter. I also did want to mention, in case you guys are stopping by my channel for the first time ever, these are a product that I actually sell on my website, which is thepigroom.com. These are our jumbo piggy bunk beds with our jumbo piggy bunk bed pig mats, which are super soft and cushiony to keep them super cozy. But the piggies honestly enjoy these so much. It's basically like a little bunk bed for them to sleep in and also hang out on. Some piggies actually really do enjoy the top bunk if they are super agile piggies and can actually jump up there. I do have 2 of them, which is going to be Winston and Eris, so I will actually end up putting some pads up there just because I do know they like to jump up there. And also they're perfect items to put into your cage after like a post bonding situation, because you can see that they have 3, well, if it's in the middle, like 4 entrances, so the piggies can easily get out if there's a pig that wants to get inside of it. I am going to go ahead and get to cleaning this room. because it is a total mess. And also I still have to hang up the Christmas lights underneath there. And the next time that I probably talk to you guys, I'm going to give you a full entire tour of the new pig room. Welcome to the new pig room, you guys. So it's actually the next day. I got caught up with doing a bunch of stuff. So I'm now filming the tour, and it actually works out even better because we finally have a sunny day. I do have my studio lights on right now just so you guys can see everything better. But welcome to the new pig room. I am so excited to give you guys a tour of the new space. It's not like set up exactly how I want it to be. I still do have a little bit more of cleaning to do, but it looks so much better. It's crazy how just like changing around the cages just makes the space feel so much more different. And honestly, the energy in here just feels so much better. As you guys can see, we have Teddy's little shelf right here, which has her plaque from one of my good friends, Kristen, and her ashes. I do have a random hay card right there. Not sure why, so I'm gonna actually remove that. And then over here, I have a cow plushie that was actually handmade by my good friend, Veronica. So super cute little memorial shelf for Teddy. Then we have Mr. Styles and Leon cage. So they are living in a 3x7 CNC cage. So they're living the exact same size cage that they were before, just of course, they moved over from here to over here. Also sorry about the poops. I did not end up spot cleaning, so the cages don't look as fresh as they did when I like first moved them inside of it. So just disregard that. But as you guys can see, here is their cage right there. They have a huge mound of hay in the middle, which they obviously do enjoy. And then their new hay rack, which they love as well. And the boys are currently rumble strutting at each other, as always. Before you guys get worried, this little lamp right here does not produce heat. I know that you guys might be concerned because it's literally right directly over a hay house, but it will not, I promise, catch it on fire. I do actually want to move it. I think probably somewhere like to right here. I feel like that could be better. That way it could kind of light up the whole cage. So definitely going to do that. But yeah, this is Leon and Styles' cage. I'm moving down below. We have Billy and Ollie's cage. Firstly, we have right here my radiator, which is actually currently hot. I just turned it off because once I start moving around in this room, it gets pretty warm, so I turned it off. But this is really nice for Ollie. I like to keep it by him. I'm actually probably gonna end up switching them if the bonding doesn't go well, which is actually happening within the next week or so. So that way, if Ollie's in this cage, he'll get more warmth than what Billy is getting right now, because he doesn't really need it, Billy. Ollie definitely does, because he's obviously a Baldwin piggy. But let me go ahead and show you guys Billy's cage. He is living in a 3x, I guess you could say like 3.5 cage, which is a perfect size for him. He's got his piggy bunk bed, which is his absolute favorite item, a twig tunnel, which is right on top of our new product, which are the pig beds. He's currently, what are you doing, buddy? He's just digging around and munching on his pellets. And then he's got his big hay mound right there as well. He does need a water bottle fill too, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that very soon. And then moving on to his neighbor's cage right here, we have Mr. Ollie, who is just relaxing in his pigloo. I actually had this piece of fleece for Baldwin piggies. They obviously got to stay warm. So I like to kind of just like bunch up a little bit of fleece so we can either like go inside of this or just snuggle in there. And he really seems to enjoy that. We've got some of our toys. We got a Timbell, Timothy hoop, and then Willow ball. Little man is just enjoying himself in his new cage. They did get a little bit of an upgrade. I do have plans on bonding the two of them. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully we can get another successful bond and have these boys together, because it would be honestly awesome to have another pair above and below. That would be really cool. So hopefully these boys are gonna be good friends. If not, I still have the option to go ahead and bond them with my other single boys, so we will see. And then I won't go too far in depth just because literally nothing is organized under here. I just shoved everything under there because I could not bother with it. But I have just a bunch of extra supplies. We've got piggy bunk beds, we've got a carrier, wooden houses, bendy bridge, bowls, hay racks, all kinds of random bits. So let me know if you guys want to see like an organization video. I have to organize this table better, and then also this really bad closet. And then over here is kind of where I have all of the piggy supplies. So we've got medication, pellets, cleaning supplies, forage, treats, toys, water. So this is kind of where I have all of their things that I need. So we'll start off with our single boys. So they are all living in 3x3, so the exact same cage sizes that they were before. So over to our left, we have Toby. In the middle, we have Ezra, and then on the right, we have Ashton. Here is Mr. Ashton. He is enjoying his cage. We have Ezra, who is currently munching down on his hay. He's got his whole entire head inside of there. And then we have Toby right there, who actually needs a bum bath. So I actually have to give that to him very soon. Moving on to the right, you guys can see we have another cage right here, which is where Leon and Styles and my two boys used to live. Now this is where the trio lives. So we have my trio, Vision, Willow, and Lennon. You guys can see Lennon is just hanging out. Willow is just munching on her pellets, and then Vision is just staring off into the abyss. They actually got an upgrade, which I'm really happy about. They went from a 3x6 to a 3x7. Now, the 3x6 was a great space for 3 piggies, but because of how active, especially Vision is, and then how chunky Lennon is, I wanted to see if I could give them more space, so I'm really happy I could do that. I do have more space to actually make their cage even bigger, but I do kind of need this space for storage. As you can tell, I'm currently using it to stack my fleece and also my bedding, but this would be the perfect spot to actually put this trash can. So I think that's what I'll do. But yeah, I kind of want to keep it like this just because I do need this space, and also a 3x7 is perfect for 3 guinea pigs. But yeah, here is their cage. They have their wooden house, they have their little tunnel right there, pellets, twig tunnel, and then also their Piggy's Choice space house for my really great supporter Nikki. And they have been loving the extra space. I'm definitely noticing them being like a lot more active and playful, which is really nice to see. So honestly, the 3 square feet has truly made a difference. And then down below here we have Mr. JoJo's cage. So he's actually currently underneath that little straw. It's not actually supposed to be a house, it's kind of like a little basket, but he has decided to use it as a little covering, which is really cute. So he's under there right now. I will say JoJo is a little bit more active than Kai, surprisingly, with how chunky he is and also the fact that he has arthritis. So I think what I want to do is actually switch the 2 of them. So I want to give JoJo this cage because it's actually a 3x4 and then this one's a 3x3. So I think the space would just be better for both of them. Here is Kai, who is enjoying his cage right here. You are so cute, Mr. Buddy. Look at those little lips. Of course, he knocked down his piggy bunk bed. As per usual, he loves to do that. I do have him on some pink fleece right now. He's repping the pink. But we have his twig tunnel, his piggy bunk bed, pig bed, a few toys, pellet dish, and then also a mound of hay. I do need to, obviously, as you guys can tell, make a coroplast base for his cage. So I did kind of want to wait to do that just because I wanted to make a dedicated video on how to actually make one. So many of you guys ask me how to make coroplast bases. So now that I have the opportunity, I feel like I should wait and actually film it for you guys. So let me know if you guys do want to see that, how to build a coroplast base, because I would definitely be down to film that. And then last, but certainly not least, we have our new Herds cage. Still living in the same size cage, as you guys know, a 3x9. But we do now have Winston living with them, which is just so wild for me to see. Just the fact that he's now like living with friends is like crazy to me. He's been without friends for like so long. So the fact that he can now enjoy his time with some piggy friends makes me so incredibly happy, and I'm sure he's enjoying it too. Things have definitely settled down within the last like 24 hours. There's not really much chasing going on or mounting. Occasionally, yes, but compared to what it was yesterday, they are getting along so much better. And as you guys saw before, they have their piggy bunk bed, they have their litter box, they have their pig mats, more piggy bunk beds, tunnel, another piggy bunk bed, and also one of our space houses again. Like I said before, I just want to make sure that everything is kind of open and free. So in case any of the piggies have any argument, they can just quickly run out and avoid the problem. But yeah, guys, that is the new pig room. I am so freaking happy with it. I will be doing kind of an official tour once this room is looking like how I want it to be, with just being super finalized. Again, I do have so many more things to do, so I'm super excited to bring you guys along for this journey. But I hope you guys enjoy the new space and the layout and the cage changes. I am so happy with it. It's gonna make my life so much easier, and I'm just super excited to start filming in here. Like I said earlier in this video, I was feeling super jaded these last couple weeks with being in this pig room and just not being super happy with the layout. Now that I have a super different layout, I'm feeling so inspired to go ahead and film so many more videos for you guys. So I'm just super excited to get to that. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this entire new renovation of the pig room. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you guys like the look of the new pig room. Subscribe for more videos every single week. And until then, I hope you and your piggies are happy, safe, and healthy. Bye, guys.